there is a very beautiful dimension called Anubandha Chatushtaya. So let me give you a minute. You can just read all these things. Anubandha, the four basics of all scriptures, eligibility, relationship, content, all these four types, what you are seeing in the screen, are mandatory for every Indian scripture. That means you take any ancient Indian scripture, that ancient Indian scripture will have these four conditions. Anubandha Chatushtaya, Adhikari, Prayojanam, Sambandha, and then Vishaya. So these four things are inevitable in every book. So that is what we are going to see now, so that you can understand the brain behind these scriptures before entering into the scripture. I want you to have an amazing experience of getting into Indian scriptures, not from an information or a data perspective. I can just go on telling book names and explain what is that about, what is that about, but that doesn't serve the purpose. My purpose is not to convey one information to another, you know location. My purpose is to generate interest and curiosity, and also to sustain your passion which you got to explore ancient Indian scripture, right? Let's do it. Eligibility, that is adhikari. Before writing any book, the author will have these four things in mind. To whom am I writing? And they will document this book is written for this particular category people only. It has been, preconceived by the author. So the adhikari is a person for whom the book is written. Therefore grammar can be prerequisite for few books. So if you don't know grammar properly, then this book may not be for you. There can be logical science or Tarka Shastra or Nyaya Shastra can be prerequisite to enter into a book. Otherwise, you may not understand this book. And discrimination, Viveka, right and wrong, how to know what the author is telling. Is he using a statement sarcastically, or is he using a statement as a statement itself? So discrimination is basically required to enter into this book. Likewise, there are different books carrying different prerequisite embedded human being as the eligibility factor. The second one is Vishaya, content. What is the matter of this book, right? Yoga Sutra talks about yoga, Bhakti Sutra talks about love, Gandharva Shastra talks about art forms. Likewise, for every book, there will be a Vishaya. Here, when the Vishaya comes, there is a beautiful piece I would like to share. These three items which you are seeing here are called Pakatraya. Paka means cooking. So there are three types of presentation. The, the scripture presents the content in three different styles. The first style is called Draksha Paka. Draksha means grape, Paka means cooking. So Draksha Paka means you don't need to cook Draksha, right? Grapes you just pluck and you put it in the mouth and chew it. So there is no cooking needed. There are few scriptures which are directly consumable. You can just get the book and consume, and you can assimilate and you can enjoy. There is no process needed. There is a few books which are like banana. What is banana? Kadali Paka. What is Kadali Paka? You can't straight away bite a banana. You need to peel off and then only you can eat it. So little bit of effort is needed to crack the content, but still it is far easy than the third one. What is the third one? Narikela Paka, the coconut tree. The coconut, right? You need to climb the coconut tree in the first place, and then you need to bring it down, and then you can't consume right away. You need to remove the outer shell, and then you need to remove the hardcore layer, and only then you can consume it. So much of effort is needed before taking the third level. There are two more podcasts mentioned, but I want to simplify it, and I didn't mention the other two. These are the vision behind writing a scripture. This shows that the authors on those days were not writing in caves. Just the thoughts comes in their head. They were not cowherds, those who were having no idea about intellectual capabilities. They were all organized. They were all intellectually very matured, where they were not only thinking about the content in their head, but also they are thinking about the cognitive ability in the other side. How a person can receive a content, how a person can assimilate a content, and for whom this content is given, what kind of delivery should happen. All these things were, researched before writing a scripture. Okay. Now, a relationship, a sambandha. There are a few things which we can't understand at all. And one such thing is sambandha. This sambandha is the relationship between the book and the book's content itself. So, what kind of a relationship the book and the book's content has? The presenter and the presentation. Giver and the gift, investigator and the investigation. So there are different kinds of relationship mentioned based on which the content was highlighted. And also, not only this, there is another famous dimension where they categorize all the books' relationship with the reader in a very lucid way. The black one is a boss, right? You can see him, right? So boss in Sanskritam can be called as Prabhu. Prabhu means master, not boss, master. And Prabhu Samhita. So, Prabhu Samhita means the books which have the relationship of a boss and employee mindset. So those books doesn't discuss with you. Those books doesn't get your approval. Those books doesn't try to convince you logically. Those books just give you order. You do this, you don't do this. If you do this, you will get into this. Order, straight bullets. Prabhu Samhita. There are another few books which are called as Mitra Samhita. And what is Mitra? Mitra means friend. The relationship of the book and the reader will be like a friend. You know, right? Friend. Both ways it works. And the third one is the most beautiful thing, my favorite, that is Kanta Samhita. It's like a life partner. The relationship is much deeper, and the learning happens in such a way where you will not even know that you have learned something, but you will learn definitely. And the process is also smooth.